Yo, what is up, everyone? This is Glimmercast episode 4, and tonight we'll be talking about recent video game news. And it's my pleasure and honor to have an esteemed group of folks with me that I have a lot of respect for from the community. And yeah, we've got Saggy Melonz, Yello Duzzit, Meta from the Metaverse, and Ken from Retro Complex. What's up, y'all?
What's up?
Yes, no, this is a momentous occasion. I don't think I've ever seen all five of us on like one panel. So I'm really honored that it can happen on my channel of all places. But yeah, no, recent video game news is pretty much what we're going to be covering.
Mm-hmm.
Topics including some of the recent Sony and Microsoft business developments and IP acquisitions, along with other video game companies that are being rumored to also be acquiring different IPs as well, and what that means for future game development. We've also got some coverage happening on the state of G4 and some general like video game community discourse. Opinions will be shared for sure around etiquette and things like that. I'm sure a lot of us have some opinions there we definitely want to share, and some most anticipated games. Also, we're going to be chatting about some games that we're currently playing and things we're excited for. But yeah, I'll jump over to Saggy. Let's hear what brings you here today, what you're currently playing, and what games you're excited for coming soon, if anything.
Well, yeah, no, first, thank you for having me, Rhea. Much love to you always. I mainly right now I'm big into PlayStation 5. I've gotten really big into battle royale games. A lot of games lately. Like I played Final Fantasy 7 Remake. That was really fun. It was very nostalgic. Right now really it's just the battle royale games, VR games. I've been trying to really get into a lot of the newer games, but I've just been feeling kind of bored with them. To be honest with you. I mean, I don't know why. I just like I used to love role playing games, and for some reason I just can't. Like I'll play them for a little while, and then I just can't. I mean, Final Fantasy 7 Remake was the only thing that I played that was a RPG that I really liked. But as far as new games coming up, I haven't really seen many that really get me hyped like they used to. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, for sure. I know that you're super big into VR gaming and following that development. So if that comes up in the conversation, I definitely want to hear your take on it, especially like when it comes to the IP acquisitions from different companies and potential titles that we would like to, see made into VR titles. But yeah, Thank you for sharing that, Saggy. Yeah, we'll jump over to Yello Duzzit. Yellow, what's up? Thank you for coming onto the channel for the first time. And yeah, let's hear, some games that you're excited for, things that you're working on, things like that.
Fam, thank you for having me, man. Never mind me and what I'm doing, man. But the games that I think that I'm like most hyped for, especially the ones that are supposed to drop this year, were supposed to drop this year. I heard God of War got pushed, heard about it, crushed, like took my soul, grinded it up in a weed grinder, rolled it up and smoked it when I heard that it got pushed. I really cried a little bit. I was very sad. But then I heard Forbidden West was coming out. Like Saggy says she jumped into the Battle Royale games. I jumped all the way away from competitive. I don't even play Call of Duty no more, fam. Like I am out. I am a casual gamer now. I don't know nothing about nothing. I'm just trying to turn it on and have some fun while I'm eating like goldfish or something after work. Like I'm not trying to. I don't want to hurt no more. I don't need my fingers cramping up unless it's some Tekken, right? Anybody can get smoked in Tekken. I'm talking to everybody out there. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me, fam. I'm just hype about this God of War and this Forbidden West.
I felt that on a personal level.
You feel me?
I felt that on a personal level, bro. I am with you.
Oh yeah,
God.
perfect segue over to Meta, the homie. I just was on your show yesterday. Thank you for having me. And
no problem. I rarely do this now because it's such a hassle. But Saggy probably already knows what's coming because my voice is muzzled. But
that's awesome.
Hi. I sometimes wear this when I want to. But anyway, yeah, no. I loved having you on, Rhea. It was a great conversation. I had a fun time, and I hope that you can come back. And heck, I'm always down for a conversation. So everyone here is obviously invited to hop on to talk about gaming, whatever y'all want.
No, that's awesome. I know that I talked to you for like a couple hours about some of our favorite RPGs, and then it became a JRPG inclusive conversation. So I appreciate you making it as accessible to me as possible, because
absolutely,
I am not super familiar with Western RPGs as much as I am with JRPGs, Japanese role-playing games. So I appreciate you making the bar of entry a little bit lower for me to be on your show.
Oh, it's no problem at all.
Awesome. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. And then last but not least, we have Ken from Retro Complex, the homie for sure. Yeah, tell us what you're working on, some games you're excited for, all that jazz.
Right now, like I always say, the only game right now I'm waiting for is Elder Ring. That I cannot wait for that game to come out.
That meme, the meme has become more than a dream.
Oh, I cannot wait for that game. And I'm like you. I'm like Saggy right now. I'm not into RPGs like I used to be. Like I like them, but not as much as I used to. But it's because of Dark Souls, like I said last time. It's Dark Souls has been such a like action-based RPG in a sense.
Yeah.
Dark Souls ruins lives.
Yeah.
By the way, Ray, just to pop back real quick, that is something that one of my friends that joined our stream yesterday mentioned. We didn't mention action RPGs like at all.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Like
so that's
when
a
it comes to
separate
like
RPG
Xenoblade
talk that we could have at a later date.
For sure, yeah, I can definitely chat more about that.
I swear it wasn't subconsciously me dodging the Dark Souls universe. It's not that I didn't want to talk about those games at all.
Oh no, I totally agree. That's a whole other subgenre that I'm excited to chat more with you about on your show too. But yeah, for sure. I do want to give us an opportunity to cover as much of the topics in depth and go around the panel to get everyone's takes on them as possible. So first topic of the evening is going to. Oh, sorry, did you have something?
My bad.
No problem. Yeah, so first topic of the evening, Sony and Microsoft IP acquisitions. And essentially the question here that I kind of want to go around the panel is this encouraging game development, or is it stifling it, and why? So yeah, I want to open the floor to anyone who has who's just bursting at the seams to jump in on this one.
It looks like me and Saggy both are, because
I raised my hand though. Damn it, you got off the camera.
I have to take my face off to eat. Listen, I'm hungry.
Because it's my channel, of course. Saggy's going to be able to speak first. So.
I'm also a gentleman, so
I like
ladies first.
No, but I think so it's really difficult because you see all these companies, they're always trying to buy stuff. Like we see with Google, Disney, they're always acquiring things. So it's not really that far-fetched like the gaming company was doing it. I think Microsoft kind of did own some of the developing companies that produce. I know they had a deal with Bungie with the Halo franchise. So I don't think it's that. I just think it wasn't mentioned or talked about much, or people weren't interested in that business aspect. So a lot of people didn't know, including myself. I had to learn that later, that Bungie actually had to deal with Microsoft. Microsoft technically owned Bungie. So that's why when Bungie was trying to do things, Microsoft was like, no. And in my head, I'm like, well, how can they tell them no? It's because they owned a stake in their company. So I think when it comes to that, I don't think it's really much of a difference. I think people might just not understand that a lot of these video game companies do own a stake in some of these businesses. Like a lot of people don't know, Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo own stakes in GameStop. They actually have enough stocks in the GameStop where they actually have the final say. I found out that the hard way when I tried to do it in Television Amico event, that they actually do have some say into what GameStop can and cannot do, which I thought was really interesting. So I don't think it's really going to change anything. I think that now it's just more people are aware that these gaming companies are buying it up, and I think it actually would probably benefit the gaming community with if you're a Microsoft fan, Microsoft has a hand in making sure that these games are coming out, making sure they're exclusive, making sure there's still exclusive content for Xbox players, same with PlayStation, making sure there's some exclusive content just for those gaming things. I think gamers would find that kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, no,
nope.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to jump to Meta because he was right after Saggy bursting at the seams to jump in on this question. So Meta, let's hear what you have to say.
Okay, I'll start off with this. and I have to be careful how I say this because otherwise I'm going to come off as a fanboy for PlayStation and not Microsoft. But
You are though.
I'm not. Like I am. I will admit I am a more of a PlayStation fan. And by the way, like just to bring this back up because I will kill myself, hurt myself if I don't. Like Saggy, that debate you had with RJ like hurt me. Like the PlayStation
Right?
versus the Xbox versus you didn't see me. I'm like Saggy, tag me in. I will smoke this man. Like I know so much about the PlayStation's doing. And like that's what I'm saying. Like Xbox buying Microsoft buying Activision is a really big deal though because Activision is such a massive Western publisher. And now people are like, oh well, Sony should buy Square. Sony should buy Sega. And I sent Ray an article. Like apparently, like the big three that are rumored are Ubisoft, Take-Two, and Square. Are the big three that Sony's reportedly eyeing. And I'm like, I don't want this. And like the reason why is like there's a difference between having Halo being a console exclusive and having an entire franchise be just a brand exclusive. So Microsoft had a deal with Bungie for the Halo series, but after a while, Bungie dipped. Like after Halo 3, Bungie dipped. And that's when 343 was created by internally in Microsoft to handle the Halo IP.
Wait, you're missing some context though.
What context?
So Bungie wanted to do so. What the big fallout between Bungie and Microsoft conflict was, from what I've read in reports and people who've worked in Microsoft, is that Bungie wanted to, when they had Halo, they wanted to do some free DLCs. Like they wanted certain DLC, certain maps to be free, and there was a conflict with the business aspect of that, where Microsoft said, no, we're not giving these away for free. And Bungie, that was the first issue. There were a lot of inside issues within Bungie as well. But yeah, when that happened, they wanted to actually focus, because from what I recall, Destiny was the game that they wanted to originally work on, but what they wanted to do with it, the technology wasn't there. So that's why they were in development of Destiny, and Halo they kind of just threw out there. That's the story I was told about why Bungie wanted to focus on Destiny more. And actually Destiny wasn't even supposed to be a sci-fi game. It was kind of supposed to be like a MMORPG first person type game, but
no, nice. Didn't know that one.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Let me jump over to Yello because I know that he was also patiently waiting to jump in on this as well. Yello, what was your reaction to some of the recent IP acquisitions?
I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like I don't follow this shit as closely as you guys do, so I'm here to learn more than to lecture. However, Monopoly is always bad. For the same reason that Saggy just said. Like
Preach.
Bungie was like, I want to give you some free shit. And Microsoft was like, nah, fuck that. That's trash. That is bad for me as a casual game consumer. No, give me the free shit. Like, why am I paying you? I'm paying you for Xbox. Like, remember when Xbox Live was free? No one remembers. I know I'm old. I'm sorry. I didn't have to bring that up. But like, that didn't used to be a thing. We didn't used to have to pay for that. Now you're talking about they wanted to give DLCs and they was like, nah. Microsoft was like, nah. Everything that they got with Activision and Blizzard, any of the niche, the smaller kind of games, the stuff that doesn't get as much, like, isn't as popular, and doesn't get it sold as much, those games are going to disappear. All of that stuff that people like, they're going to go away because they're going to focus on the big sellers, right? And then they're going to find ways to get more money out of you. Like everyone remembers the microtransactions thing, right? And then EA fucked it up, and then everybody was like, oh, we can't do that no more because we all caught on. They're doing the same thing still. They're just smarter about it now. If they own everything, if Microsoft owns everything, right? And there's less competition, then that means ultimately it means less options or the illusion of choice. You get a whole bunch of games that look exactly the same, that act exactly the same, that all, don't really.
They got Call of Duty now, so that fits that mold.
You see what I'm saying?
I think there's actually stores. I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw this on Twitter. Several people posted that actually stores telling people to make the right decision in which console they're gonna buy, just because of the acquisition of Microsoft getting Call of Duty and stuff like that.
I don't think those are going to be first party exclusives. I
No.
can't imagine it.
No, they got too much money to make.
They can, but they can be assholes and do it. They can
they can make exclusive DLC and stuff. They can do that because PlayStation's been doing that. Like for Modern Warfare, PlayStation had an exclusive mode for an entire year. That's petty. That's super petty. I'll admit that's hella petty. But but Phil Spencer has gone on record, Yello, to state that he wants to dive into the Activision vault and bring back like classic titles. So
Lie.
Yeah,
think it's a
no,
lie.
I'm pretty much in the same boat as Yellow, because I'm also pretty much like a self-confessed casual gamer. There are some key franchises that I will follow religiously, and then others that, you know, are kind of put on the back burner for me, although I can acknowledge that, you know, they are good games within their communities and stuff. But as much as like this acquisition of, you know, different companies and stuff is making some titles a little bit more accessible, of like on streaming platforms or, you know, subscription services and things like that. To Yellow's point, I do agree that, you know, the variety and like the artistic freedom of those, any future, you know, titles within those IPs will be watered down. Oh, go ahead, Saggy. Or yeah, go ahead, Saggy.
I'm doing the raise hand thing to be respectful, but no, my thing is like, I'm okay with them having exclusive content, even in multi-platform, like things like Call of Duty, and having Sony have us.
Yeah.
But I would be more okay with it if all games across the platform were cross-platform play.
It should be
all,
like that.
right. If
Should be
all
like
the
that.
games, if every game that comes out is cross-platform, then I'm okay with certain exclusives being for like, hey, we'll give you a special skin or a special mode only for PlayStation, but it's all cross-platform. So
Right.
I mean,
So this
you don't.
was an attack on PlayStation, then, is what that really was about. Because
Well,
PlayStation is the ones that's holding up cross-platform for the most part, right?
It basically
Well,
felt
Nintendo.
like
Nintendo holds
it
it.
feels
Nah,
like Microsoft
Nintendo's-
is trying to like
gamers
take
don't play
down
Nintendo.
Sony. Yeah,
Excuse
sorry
you?
about that.
Hold
But
on, hold on.
overall, I think it all should just be cross-platform. I think it's stupid to like at this point, because now it's like you're making people have to spend extra money they don't have to buy. You know, not every household needs 3 freaking different consoles. Like that's unnecessary. Like
Not
find
everybody needs every console that's
right,
currently
exactly.
out right
RJ, RJ.
now. Saggy.
It's interesting though, because like this is kind of like that's like my argument in favor of variety and additional, you know, means of gaming, is that, you know, additional consoles solve that problem. Like every console in it has the right to exist in the open market. But
Yes.
yeah, I do want to give a chance to Ken to, you know, speak at length about this topic and anything else that he didn't get to cover yet on it.
Oh no, I'm like I said, I feel like Microsoft is actually trying to take down PlayStation, or are trying to acquire most of the big names out there just to make more money. This is a game about money,
Of course.
so whatever
That's-
makes
yeah.
me more money, I'm gonna do it no matter what. So
Yeah.
I
That's-
understand
yeah.
that people are like kind of pissed off at the situation with Call of Duty, and maybe Call of Duty is gonna be on no platform, but Microsoft can go like they had done in the past and just acquire the company, shut down the game from the other games, and done. Or they can do like they're doing with Nintendo, that they're buddies now. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Oh
Nintendo
no,
and Microsoft
I've
are
been
buddies.
fully aware of that. That's why I thought Master Chief was going to be the final character in Smash.
Yeah, so this is what I was speculating over on Meta's channel the other day, like because we're both like really big fans of Persona, and we were kind of expressing interest around like the potential for Sony to port those past Persona titles over to Nintendo. And although it's like a little unclear on, you know, the state of that, because all we've gotten are spin-offs on other platforms and on Microsoft platforms up till now. It's kind of confusing, because it's like, okay, does Atlas need to be acquired by one of these companies like Nintendo or Microsoft in order for us to get Persona or to get access to these legacy titles?
Right.
Or are they going to willingly port them over themselves? Like, which would be the more preferred option, I guess, which will give me Persona faster, basically, on Switch.
It's like I told you though, Rhea, like someone in the Persona, like I think it's like P Studios is what it's called. They said that one of their goals for the 25th anniversary is to make all of these games accessible to players, and the only way you do that is with ports or remasters, or both.
Well, it's streaming. You just
the problem with ports and remasters, at least in my opinion, for the Switch, is that they don't know how to do them correctly. At least the ones that they had done for the the ones that they had done from PlayStation to Switch, like Grand Theft Auto, one of them.
Did you see Pokemon, the new Pokemon? They don't know how to make new games either. Did you see Arceus?
Okay.
Okay. No.
Hey, fam. You need to
Hey.
chill. I'm gonna stick
Listen,
to Ray.
I
You
love
need to chill,
Pokemon.
homie.
I am way too
You are
old to
coming
have
for
been
that big.
playing
Listen,
Pokemon
listen.
for as long as I've been playing Pokemon. All right, I love Smash Brothers. I
Yellow.
love Mario Kart. I'll even play some Mario Party. But the Pokemon games are
Yellow.
garbage, fam.
Yellow.
That's
Oh,
it. That's just
Yellow.
what.
that
Like, how
hurt.
long do we
Rhea,
gotta
I
wait till
got
we
My
can
entire
actually run
platform
around
is
and
built
do?
on
Yellow?
Pokemon.
Did you see?
I'm not gonna lie.
Did you
kinda,
see the textures?
kinda with
Did you
him.
see the
Yellow.
textures in the
Yellow.
grass? Like, what are they
Hey.
doing? Sorry, it looks like THQ made this game. Remember THQ?
Hey,
Yes, I do
Chill.
remember
you
THQ.
need to chill.
My
Don't
fault.
All right, all
dare
right,
speak
all right.
ill of THQ.
All right, we're at like a 9. I need to
My
bring it down to
bad,
maybe
my
like a
bad,
6
yo,
or a
like-
5.
I loved
Hey,
THQ in 2000. It was great. THQ was the man in 2000.
Yellow just broke this stream real quick.
Yeah, no, I don't want to turn it into a Pokemon debate. Like, to each their
No,
own.
I love
you
This
know.
was
Pokemon.
gonna be a
I love
Pokemon debate. I
Pokemon.
was just gonna say, like, I am, me and you even talked, Ray. Like, I am all for criticizing Nintendo's bad business practices. And Pokemon does have its fair share of bad decisions that it's done in the past. However, I literally have heard nothing but good things about Arceus. Like,
It's ugly.
That's the thing though. Like with Sword and Shield, I heard a lot more negative than I did positive. But this time
But
I've heard
yeah,
nothing but positive.
Well, like, but like bringing it back to like the IP acquisition, like for Nintendo to like acquire, like to potentially like acquire, let's say for example, Sega, for like we were talking about this a little bit, I think, Meta, where like Sega is probably making more money as a third party publisher than they would if they were to just sell outright. Yellow, if you have any insight on that or things or opinions on that too, like I just wanted to kind of open the floor to that as an example.
Yeah, like I'll so the one thing that and I don't care I will debate anyone on this. Microsoft has garnered an audience for Western RPGs. They've garnered an audience for first-person shooters. They've garnered a lot of different audiences to their platform. The one they will never fully have is JRPGs. So those that say that they're going to buy Sega, they're going to buy Square, they're not doing that. They're not even attempting to go into the Eastern market because it's not viable for them. And so yes, but Sega makes third-party. Like they're so good at making third party because they have Monkey Ball. They just released a new Monkey Ball game that's like a compilation of the series. They just released like last year the team behind the Yakuza series launched Lost Judgment, and that is a fantastic game. I am almost done with the story. It is fantastic. And then you have, of course, Sonic. You have, again, like Yakuza. You have Atlas with Persona, and not just Persona, but Shin Megami Tensei, and I guess 13, I think is what it's called. That game, it just got a port to Switch. It was a PlayStation exclusive, but then it just got a port to Switch. Everything's getting a port before Persona 5 Royal, at least. But anyway, but Sega through publishing for other companies and producing their own titles, Sega makes more money as a third party than they do that. Now, what's interesting though, I say this, and I'm only bringing this up because I'm talking Sega. So they're making all this money, being a third-party publisher. But what's actually interesting is that they just gave up the last of their stock for in the arcade business.
Oh, really?
The Japanese Sega arcades are closing down in Japan.
Yeah, Meta shared with me the article to
50 years of history just gone.
Wow.
Yeah, like I was fortunate enough to be able to visit the arcades in Tokyo, like back in 2019, like before the pandemic, and those are historical landmarks as far as I'm concerned. They're like time capsules going back to like the late 80s, like early 90s. The game machines are still like we're still like in crisp, immaculate condition, like just like the atmosphere of having folks like surrounding an arcade cabinet while they're playing too. Like, so it's really sad that happened.
And that's the problem with monopolies, right there.
Well, they're still going to make arcade games. They're just not going to have arcade buildings. I need to
Right.
Sure,
we're going to make arcade games still. Like House of the Dead and everything's still coming. Don't worry about that.
Why? But why won't they have buildings, right? Why did they have to divest that? Because they have to focus their funds in other areas because they don't have enough to do everything that they want to do because these giant companies are destroying and crushing. Like I'm sure Sega is doing well for themselves, but I'm sure you remember,
but it's not.
It was Sega versus Nintendo, right? And then the Dreamcast, everybody figured out how CD-ROMs work, and it was like, oh yeah, bye guys, we're gonna see you guys later. Skies of Arcadia went to the GameCube immediately after Dreamcast died. Right. But now when you have these large companies who are buying up all of these smaller things, you think we're ever going to get a game like Skies of Arcadia again? Power Stone? No. Gone.
Well, I mean, that's
I
mostly
don't know.
because
We're
Sega
gonna
shot
see.
themselves in the foot.
I
But
did want to
Right.
I did
It's
want to call out
unfortunate what happened.
I did want to call out RJ's comments about exclusive games and exclusive content in games too. And yeah, no, like my personal position is like I am totally fine with exclusive games, like being on different platforms as well. I don't have too much of a spicy opinion about exclusive content either, because let's say like a PlayStation version of a game has a Ratchet and Clank skin, and then like Xbox version has a Master Chief Halo skin. So that
Sure.
makes sense to me to like incentivize more sales on those respective platforms.
Mhm.
So I'm not 100% sure if I understand RJ's argument or not.
Well, my
Soul
thing, and
Soul Calibur had 3 skins.
I'm going in on him in the chat because here's the thing. All exclusive content is what separates all of these consoles, right?
Yes.
Right.
It literally, like, you're making your consumers feel special because they are getting something that no other person is getting. That makes your consumers feel like they're special. You're basically complaining that, oh well, these companies, like, no, you want to take away what makes the exclusive special. You know, the skins, you guys are sitting there like, skins are fine. Okay, well, why are skins the exception here? Because now I can't get a skin that I might like that's on PlayStation because it's exclusive. I like that skin, but now I can't get it unless I get a PlayStation. It's the same concept. You can't have one standard for one thing and not across the board. I think
Well,
exclusives
it is a
are
little
fine.
bit different. It is a little bit
Exclusives
different. Like
push console sales.
I'm not against exclusives, but it's a little bit different when you have things like certain specifically with DLCs and stuff, right? Because it's like now you're denying the who would want to consume this DLC, you're denying them the opportunity behind this console wall that you've put up now, right? Like things like that. And we're seeing more and more stuff like that happening. Or just sections of the game. Like now, the problem with games now, you got games like Destiny. I never played Destiny. So I don't know if it's fun or not.
Yeah.
Shout out to those of you who have and you enjoy it.
It's
But when
garbage.
they said that you buy the game and then you have to actually pay for DLC to finish the game because you don't get a full game, that's a thing that's been happening more and more, which is another problem with like all of these IPs being kind of controlled by one place. If there's more competition, then they can't get away with that kind of stuff. And that's the problem, I think. Like, I don't agree with what RJ's saying, Resident Justice saying about exclusives. I think it's perfectly fine to have exclusives, but there are these points where the exclusivity is more of a it's
Like-
it's like I got you by the ball. Like, you're gonna do it because I know you have to. You know what I'm saying? Like they put you in a position where you feel forced to make these decisions, and it's super trash.
Like I got an example for you, Yellow, and I know this game does not have the best reception, but the biggest one that I've seen recent outcry over was when Avengers was coming out, and during the launch, like up to the launch of the game, they out of nowhere said Spider-Man is going to be an exclusive character to PlayStation's version of Marvel's Avengers and no one else's, and everyone was like, "That's bullcrap." I'm like, it isn't if you know the track record with Sony. Like Sony and Spider-Man are like intertwined. Like it makes sense.
Well, whether they have a track record or not doesn't really matter. Either it's bullshit or it's not.
They also apparently have a deal.
Bullshit.
They have a deal. Well, I'm just saying, like they also rumoredly have a deal like with like PlayStation has a deal with like Marvel and Disney about the Spider-Man, like just
Marvel.
their game, just their games in general. Like apparently, like Insomniac is actually able to make their own like universe. That's why Wolverine and Spider-Man are exclusive to PlayStation. They're trying to make their own Insomniac Marvel universe.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening, and that is why, because they do have that deal. And yeah, I mean, you know, if Xbox players are like mad about it, I understand. And if we have fewer monopolies, then we have more competition, and we can end up with things where people are like, all right, it's exclusive for now. And then after a year, all right, here, you guys can have it. Which is something they kind of started doing already too.
It's not illegal to have like a monopoly like that, like a company buy all the rest of the company. It's supposed to be illegal, right?
I think you have to own a certain percentage.
Yeah,
of the company
like right now,
it's bullshit.
With
bullshit.
Microsoft,
and then they buy the laws to change how much that percentage is, like every 5 years. It's bullshit.
Well,
Microsoft they can do pretty much whatever they want.
Microsoft, not only in the gaming aspect, I don't know how closely you've been following them, Yellow, but the current CEO of Microsoft has been buying companies, not just in the gaming space, just in general, across the board in technology. And the Department of Justice has not done a damn thing to stop them.
That's what I'm saying. That it's kind of weird that they're buying all these companies and nobody's saying nothing, because last time I checked, a company can buy so far other companies out, but they cannot monopolize the whole thing for themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Including
as long as there's one tiny guy over there who can't ever compete with them, for the most part, you're good. And that's a little bit of hyperbole, but that's often how
Well,
it ends up being.
it's also a lot of like loopholes and stuff and technicalities that they could bypass to do that. Because I know when T-Mobile acquired Sprint, there were it was a while because they had to go through hoops.
So she apprehended the motherfuckers.
They apprehended it. Well, Sprint was going under, so that's how they got it because they were saving.
They weren't Sprint no
they
more.
were saving a company. That's how they got it. Is they were saving the company from ruining.
They were limping.
So limping. But that's the thing, because T-Mobile also acquired Metro PCS, and now it's Metro by T-Mobile. So they already bought another phone company. So when Sprint was going down, they were like trying, that's what I mean with Monopoly. Monopolies are really difficult because, again, you could sit there and argue, well, with Microsoft acquiring Activision was kind of going down after the controversy. So they could say, well, we're saving this company. That's why we're acquiring it, because we're saving it. So it's not Monopoly. That's the thing.
Including themselves, Microsoft owns 3 of the highest grossing game studios, though, in the gaming space.
Yeah, but then Sony has the other 3, so it's like,
it's Sony and Tencent,
and then there's Nintendo. Sony's about to buy Tencent. No, is that not a thing?
No,
that's Nintendo. I don't consider, in this whole situation, I don't consider Nintendo like a great contender or nothing like that, because Nintendo is doing their own thing on their side.
Nintendo,
they kind of like,
yeah, but it's huge though. But it's huge though. Like they're not competing with them. They're doing it's their own thing. It's their own market.
Yeah.
But it's huge though. Like they are the other. Like everybody who there's, I got a Switch right there. It's there. I barely play. I play Hyrule Warriors every once in a while with my lady, but that's it. You know what I'm saying? But it's there. It's sitting there though. Right? You know what I mean? Faithfully. So they got it.
Nintendo ain't worried.
DSs I have around here. I can't tell like. All these, this is all.
Oh my God, y'all are nerds.
Oh, I don't play none of this.
Yeah, right.
But they're there though. They got my money, didn't they?
No, yeah, I'm probably like really I overlap a lot in terms of like my gaming habits with Yello and Ken, like in terms of like a lot of like legacy titles, really like big into retro consoles and nostalgia, stuff like that. I do have interest in modern gaming, but only if it's like adjacent to the IPs that I am already familiar with. Yeah. Right. So for me, I am okay with the idea of titles being more accessible. Like, obviously, I was talking about this with Meta, where like, okay, if a game is being ported to mobile first, is that necessarily bad? I personally don't think so, because it's making it more accessible to the highest amount of people as possible. And then if that's successful, then it will warrant additional ports to potential consoles as well. At least like in theory, that's how I see it happening. So for me, as someone who is admittedly a casual gamer, more nostalgic and stuff like that, I am looking to be able to play, to Saggy's point, my games on my console of choice. So in that regard, the idea of a monopoly on these IPs is potentially limiting my accessibility to that IP. So I just wanted to kind of like share that. It's like a really complex idea. Because I want it to be accessible. I'm noticing that a lot of legacy IPs are being acquired by companies that are making them exclusive to their platforms. So it's a higher bar of entry for me as someone who doesn't particularly game on that many diverse titles to begin with, to try and continue to follow the titles that I care about.
I just had a thought. And it just hit me while Rhea was talking, because she's talking about, but legacy titles. And I'm like, wait a minute. So Xbox, during their 20th anniversary presentation, said they're done with backwards compatibility because they basically couldn't agree with any more licenses. They just acquired Activision. They could make every Xbox version of an Activision game backwards compatible. And on top of adding it to Game Pass, just make it backwards compatible. Like, that's another thing. Like, right? Like, because like I really hope that Phil is a man of his word when it comes to bringing back like legacy titles.
Backwards compatible?
Yes, like you're able to put in an Xbox, like Xbox on original Xbox on an Xbox Series X.
Yeah, there's titles.
But the physical game though, you're talking about?
Yeah, the physical disc. You can put in the physical disc.
That's never gonna happen. That's not.
No, that's happening now.
They're going to streaming. They're going to streaming. They're
No,
not
that's
doing
already happening though. Is what I'm telling you.
already
Like
happening.
it's
What do you
that
explain?
Microsoft. So ever since Xbox, for those that help me out here, I think it's been ever since Xbox 360. Microsoft has always made their consoles backwards compatible. So on Xbox One, Xbox 360, and Xbox titles were backwards compatible, and so on and so on.
Right. And that's the one win that they had over PlayStation. Right.
Well, they had it over PlayStation, not at first, because the original PlayStation 3 was everything under the sun, even though it didn't need to be, but it did backwards compatibility with PS2 and PS1. The later versions of PS3 only did PS1. And now they don't do them at all until like PS5 with PS4. And rumor has it in February, we might be getting backwards compatibility with all the other consoles. And that's a whole other discussion. But yeah, no, Microsoft could do that.
Yeah, I don't see why they would do that when they can just offer the streaming service and put all of the games on a server.
Because it's a very consumer.
That's
It's
true,
like because I to get into one of RJ's debating points, Microsoft has been doing a lot of consumer friendly business practices lately.
Well,
And
Game Pass
in
is a
terms of like
fucking genius
accessibility.
idea.
Yeah.
Right now they give
Right.
Nintendo Banjo-Kazooie the right to use
Yeah.
Banjo-Kazooie on their system.
They brought Banjo-Kazooie back to the god awful Switch Online service. And it is god awful. I will not stop saying
it's
that.
awful.
Can
It's
we
awful.
just bring back Phantasy Star Online? That was my shit back in the day, and I missed it. I was there. I actually had to re-download the game to log into the account and be there for the final minutes before they shut down the
Maggie
server.
was outside. She was
I would
outside.
love to see them bring it back, but now we have Sword Art Online.
No, boo. Phantasy Star Online, bro. Those
No,
memories,
hold on.
man.
First of all, as bad as like the anime got, as a quick aside, as bad as the anime got, that would be and is one of the most incredible games.
Nah, Phantasy Star Online, OG.
Stock
Fantasy
hackers,
Star Universe.
you-
Fantasy Star
Get
Universe.
a PC. Steam is sitting there waiting for you.
No, they shut down the servers.
I want to really quick jump to
I'm sorry.
our Saggy and I's friend show, who we know. Yeah. So one thing that he called out was Yellow's point about potentially getting only about 5 more years of physical editions, then we'll all be digital. That was actually the next topic I wanted to segue into. The argument around like physical and digital media. Just a quick aside to like set the floor of how this topic came up in the list. So I recently bought the complete edition of Mortal Kombat 11,
Rhea,
and I
virtual
was
hugs.
and I was so stoked to open it in the mail. I'm like, yippee! And then I like look at the box. It said no card in this box. Full download code inside.
Yeah, game
And
companies are doing that now for Switch.
and that's on me for not reading. First of all I saw was like the complete edition of the game for sale. It was like $20, so I was like, yes, all the DLC and a game.
Now you wonder why it was so cheap.
Yes, exactly, because it was a piece of paper and a piece of plastic. But I was basically, I collect physical media. I'm a big advocate for media preservation, and it's really something that just like, it's another thing about making games accessible for as long as possible. Like a lot of it is, stored in physical media, especially like for retro games. And a lot of that is, deteriorating over time, especially like the more it's used. So yeah, I kind of wanted to open the floor to continue our discussion around like like how digital media, although it is making more content accessible to more audiences, it's also sort of limiting access to more obscure titles at the same time, because we're getting more access to like the big, titles that continue to be talked about to this day, like, from major IPs, but a lot of like, smaller titles and more like regionally like accessible titles, like let's say like games that were made available like
only.
Yeah, like in Europe and in Asia and stuff like that. Like it's really hard for US audiences to access those too. So yeah, I'll jump over to Saggy to sorry, I'm trying to point to you. Yeah, to jump in on that.
The benefits of actually being able to be on camera.
Yeah, you were on camera. No, so I've been saying this for a while.
Can't breathe in that thing.
I have a lot of digital games, mainly because I get them for free each month with my PlayStation stuff. But I've always said that I still like the idea of physical media for multiple reasons. One, because people still like to collect physical copies, which that's still a thing, and those do increase in value after time depending on the game. Like, you can go to GameStop and find like an old school Nintendo cartridge that's like a couple $100, and also, even though I know people hate it, I have to talk about GameStop because you can't trade in digital media for currency. You can only do that with physical. So there is still a benefit of utilizing GameStop with the physical media, and
GameStop
also
needs to die.
no, I don't think
Dude.
it does.
It's over.
No,
It's
no,
over.
Hey, yo.
It's
no.
over.
Here's
over,
the thing.
guys.
Here's the
Move
thing,
on.
Yellow.
I'm
Do you know
sorry.
why? Do you know why I think I have to disagree with you? Because
I
GameStop,
loved trading. I loved it, and then it became
right? But
way
you
more. It's
still,
like returning cans to the grocery store is what it feels like.
But that's
It
not
is,
just
but
a
that's
my
the
God,
GameStop
yes,
thing.
it's
That
true.
As a matter of fact, I'm lying to you.
general.
I'm lying to you. It's a better investment to return cans to the grocery store than it is to try and trade in games at GameStop.
Here's the thing. The reason why so first of all,
It's
you're
a
partially right.
misconception on
It's
GameStop.
only
No, it's I've been. How's it been? I've been there.
no, hold
I've
on.
done it.
So it's
It's
only
trash.
hold on, wait. So
Huh?
you get more
What?
money for your games if you don't ask for cash, right? So if you're not walking away and taking money from them,
Even trading
that-
value is
trading
penny.
value is a
It's
little
not.
more. Trading value is a little
Yeah,
more.
it's a
Ooh.
tiny bit more. It's like an extra
But here's
dollar.
my
Oh,
thing,
thanks.
Yellow.
Yeah.
But here's my thing, Yellow.
Show
That
is
game,
false.
that game that you bought for $60 at the time, you have not played that game for the last year or so. You're kind of hurting for a couple bucks. You're going back to you're going there, and you're at least walking away with something, right?
Sell
And
it
it's
on
not as
eBay.
much, but you're still walking away with
Retro
something
stuff.
as opposed to nothing, right?
Sell
That
it on
money you
eBay.
spent is gone. You're getting
Retro.
something back, whether you think it's enough. You're still walking away with money. So, but that and
Yeah,
that comes in handy for
my
people, for
fault.
parents,
I feel you. Well, I'm
for
sorry.
Christmas
Ken,
time.
was it? Ken? That
Yeah,
was your
Ken.
name? Ken,
Yeah,
I believe.
Ken.
Retro Complex. Could
Yeah.
you just repeat that for everyone one more time? Because I don't think they heard you the first two times.
Sell it on eBay.
P2P, bro. Why am I going through this company who's ripping me off when I can just give it to you?
Okay. Again, it is a misconception that it's only GameStop that does this when it's not.
Oh no
I
no
have
no
traded
no no!
games
First
in
of all, no. They all can go. I'm not saying GameStop. All of them who are doing this can go away.
Small
Hold on.
mom and pop
Yeah.
game stores do this though. That's what I'm
Hold
saying.
on.
They have to make a value. They have to make a buck
Right,
off
they
of
have
what
to
you're
make a
putting in.
profit. They have to make a
But it's all
profit.
depending
P2P.
because I got a store close to me. It's called Game Hunters, and they don't give you the full value of the game, but they actually give you something. Like, let's suppose I don't know, for my single game that is cost $350,
Like,
the guy will be willing to give me $200 for it, just to
Right.
him to have it.
Right.
Let me.
Right.
I got an
Fair.
example. Like the other day, I traded in my my original PSVR headset and everything because PSVR 2 is coming, and I'm all for that. He was gonna sell it for like, I think he said he's gonna sell it for $250, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not expecting like much. I'll like meet me like not half, but like give me $150 for it. He's like, all right, I'll give you $150 for this. And it came with like, it was the headset, everything was complete, and I also gave it like a stand and like a DualShock or dual.
But I feel kind of because you're talking about new media. When it comes to new media,
Yeah, you're talking about VR now.
Yeah, when you're talking about VR,
Well, I'm just talking about like trading in a.
Yeah, but the price is not
something
gonna
old.
go up, or it's because when it's old, exactly like you said, super old, like games like Nintendo and stuff, they had to match their value because you're not gonna spend, you're not gonna waste money. It's like going to a pawn shop. They're gonna try, they're not gonna go high, but they're gonna try to match you. So because they have to still win money, it's like you said, they have to still win money, but you cannot lose money. You cannot be that stupid and lose money on it, like GameStop will do. And when you go in,
Well, also stuff's going to sit there. You don't know when it's going to sell. That's the other thing.
Let's give Saggy the floor.
Okay, so here's the thing. I've worked for GameStop, so I have some knowledge of like how they do things. And here's the thing.
Me too.
But I'm saying, like, here's the thing. You guys aren't 100% wrong. You guys aren't really 100% wrong because hold on, people like GameStop and all these companies that do this stuff, it's because people are, let's just be honest, they're freaking lazy. They don't want to sell their own product. They don't even know where to start. They don't know how to compare how much this game is worth. So when it comes to GameStop, they do that work for them. They look online to see how much it's going for online. They adapt it that way. So I mean, it's mainly a convenience. In GameStop and game stores like that, it's for convenience. But they also still have to make a profit to continue continue paying their bills. So I mean, that's why I feel like GameStop needs to exist, because unfortunately we do live in a world where people aren't savvy enough to find a way to sell their own things. Like eBay, yeah, that's easy, but again, a lot of people are lazy. They're not going to
Yeah,
sell
yeah,
their game
yeah,
on
yeah.
I
eBay.
get you. I get you.
They
I'm gonna-
provide a service, right? So like,
Right,
we're not just going to take them out if they're not providing a service, right? That was
right,
hyperbolic. I still feel the same way. They can go.
right.
Remember when Netflix started and everybody was like sending DVDs in the mail? That's crazy.
Mhm.
GameFly sending games in the mail? That's crazy. GameStop can do the same thing. Trade your game in through the mail.
Well, to Saggy's point, like another point about the value, quote unquote, of GameStop in in terms of like game preservation. They're one of the few places where I can like actually still purchase PS3 games, Xbox
Right.
360 games,
Not
in
at a scalp
person.
price, mind you.
Not at a scalp
Yeah,
price,
yeah,
like
yeah.
That's the other
relatively,
thing.
yeah, like they
Kinda.
yeah, no, I mean they have done some scalpery things in the past and produced their own
Like, yeah.
what is the word? They manufactured scarcity.
Mhm.
I'm probably
Right.
saying that. Yeah, they put,
Yeah.
yeah. So
No, that's what it is.
they
Yeah.
are big time people who do that for sure. Like there's proof of them doing that. But on the flip side, they also are one of the main people that are making legacy titles accessible to folks like me who are interested in collecting and preserving physical media. So there's like a little bit of like
Yes,
some redemption
but
there.
only the games that nobody wants, right? Because the games that everybody does wants, they're gone already. You can't go like
That's not
Skies of
true.
Arcadia. All right. Skies of Arcadia.
No.
Well,
like,
if
okay,
the
perfect
company
example.
if the company do a contract or like a person like a limited run or somebody like that, they can actually re-release that game if they wanted to.
I was going to mention limited run and
That's a
actually in
different
just a
thing, though.
moment, but like for example, like if I went into like my local like mom and pop store and I saw a Pokemon game, it's $300 for no reason. It's $300 at GameStop. I can get Pokemon Emerald for $50. Yeah, that's still a little bit high price, but $50 is cheaper than $300. Like that's all I'm saying.
Well,
Like
I guess
yeah.
like not to like legitimize like that.
Yeah, they are.
Not to legitimize
you
the
can
mom
also-
and pop shop, but like obviously like they're looking at perhaps that's like a complete in box edition, with the manual, nice crisp.
Oh
box,
no,
things
That's
people
those are more.
like neurotic weirdos like me are into that and are
That's
willing
true.
to pay like that top dollar.
Rhea.
Also,
Rhea,
the reason why you gotta pay so
no,
much at the mom and
Rhea.
pop is because there's
Uh,
places like
yeah.
GameStop who have like a monopoly on all the game trading places. Like there are smaller stores. Sure, I got one around here, Level 1. You know what I'm saying? They kind of have been popping up a little. There's stuff like that all over the place. But for the most part, GameStop is the same problem we were talking about earlier in the show with Microsoft buying up Blizzard and Activision Blizzard. Like it's the same thing, and they've been doing it. Remember EB Games? Anybody remember?
Oh,
No,
I do.
it's
Yeah,
gone now.
I remember that
It's
commercial.
gone now.
Yeah.
They became
KB
GameStop,
Toys.
right?
Oh.
KB exactly. Toys R Us is dead. Toys R Us
dead because
died,
of GameStop,
guys.
though.
No, but I bet you if they were selling games, you know what I'm saying, they would have been
They
all right.
did
But
have
they
a
did.
game section, but
By
they
the way,
Remember
because of-
Funko Land, or was that only me? Was that only in the Northeast?
That was-
Funko Land?
no.
Like, can we be? So this is what I'm saying. All right, GameStop needs to go. Leave it to the mom and pops.
Raya, the best places for those type of games, like for like old school Nintendo games, I found flea markets. They have a bunch
Yes.
of vendors that sell flea markets.
Yeah,
have a bunch
Yes,
of-
but they be
I-
getting
I
smart
abs-
about it too.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. To Ken's point, people are catching on
Yeah.
to go to these flea markets and to go to garage sales, and people who are selling them are also catching on. Like, hey, I can actually like make bank off of this.
Mhm.
So, anyway,
So-
Ken, like if
Yeah,
you wanted to
yeah.
expand on that a little bit more, feel free.
No, it's like I was saying, somebody was saying something on the topic. Yes, we want the GameCube games to come back. I love for GameCube
Same.
Yes.
games.
Yeah,
I
But
love
anyway,
my
going
Nintendo
back,
games.
physical media is something that's gonna be forever. No matter how much they try to digitalize everything, physical media is gonna be forever. Why?
Not
People
realistically,
like
not
limited
in an
run. People
effective
like
way.
every time I hear the same story about digital. I've been hearing digital is gonna be the way since Steam opened, and I have Steam for a long ass time. I have over
Mhm.
600 games in Steam, and
Damn.
yeah, and I have always heard the same thing, and I had never seen it died. People like Limited
Oh, but you
Run,
have
people
to.
like all
You've
those
seen
companies
it.
are gonna
Specially reserved games,
coming
and yeah.
and coming because they know that people like me or like Raya they actually like physical, they're gonna buy it.
Yeah.
They're gonna pay top money for it.
Yeah,
love
there will
LRG.
always be a market for it in the same way that there's always a market for vinyl records, right?
Yeah.
Like people, it'll be a collector's, it'll always be a thing, but the overwhelming majority will be digital and it will be streaming. That's where it's going because that's how we
kind of
do
feel
everything
that way
else.
too. I feel like that might be what's happening, but I think like
And I don't know if it's good or bad, right? Like I'm not saying it's better to do it this way. I like streaming; it's real convenient. But if the internet is down, or if let's say I'm too
That's the
broke,
thing.
But hold on,
and
hold
I
on,
can't, I
hold
don't
on.
have it. Like then it's trash. Then it's useless to me,
Mhm.
right?
changed my
But
mind.
you know,
I changed my mind because here's the thing. Even though I do agree that that is the direction they're going to try to take, remember when something
they're taking,
changes.
they're
Well,
doing
hold
it
on.
now.
But but here's the thing, Leo. When something like that changes, you know what's going to happen now. What's going to be in high demand and going to be probably a pain in the butt to find, and what are they going to stack up on the prices on? Because you're talking about everything that's going to be digital. Guess what? How much space do we have on our consoles to contain that? Now we have to
That's a
get
problem.
now we're gonna have to spend a bunch of money to get extra storage to contain these
4
games.
terabyte hard drives.
I
No,
will
but
fucking
no,
need
but they're in the
a
cloud.
whole
We do it on
server
PlayStation right
to
now.
put my games.
I have 1 million every month. I grab, or almost every month, I grab one game on PS Plus, and it just hangs out in the library somewhere.
And then you
Right?
know what's
Like
gonna happen with that?
I don't
Is it-
have it on my console. It's just there, right? And
And
I
you know
can
what's
get
gonna
to it
happen with
whenever I
that?
want.
But you know what's gonna happen with that? The same thing that Apple does. You're gonna have to pay money a month for extra storage.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna get you some way or
Sure.
another.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But it's
But that's
going
why
to
if they
happen, right?
can-
but
So,
that's why physical media is still like we should not want them to do digital because they'll start charging us just to contain space for our games where we can just buy the games and have our own free storage space. You know what I'm saying?
but
So
not
They
There's
that
also
won't that
the sorry, I did want to interject. There's also, the argument that a few folks called out where you never truly own the digital content, whether
right.
the servers
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
Yeah, I
down,
was about to say
like
that.
even though, yeah, like that, and that's like a really scary thought, especially like I think it was like with PS3 owners, like potentially like they would lose
God
access to a
almighty.
lot of like their accessible media too, and even if you download it, it could still
Delisting.
It happened to me with who was it? I think it was GameStop. I don't remember who was the company who used to have an app like Steam and stuff like that. I lost, I think, 7 games to them when they closed the store, when they finally closed the app. So I lost the games. I could not download, I could not do nothing. Once they closed that app, I lost everything.
Yeah.
So I lost my own money. So I had to rebuy those games again just to be able to play them. Just because that company closed. So
And
they don't
but
even
why did
let
they
you.
close though?
I think the app
They
nobody
ran out of
used it.
money.
Nobody
They
used
ran
the
out.
app.
That's the
Yeah.
problem, right?
So the
Because
thing
of
is that
monopolies.
But
what is
There's
the
more
point of me having a
competition, then that's not a problem.
digital if I gonna have that problem? I'm gonna lose the whole game. I'm gonna lose my money. I paid for something that is supposed to be mine. Why should I be worried about the company losing money, like you say, and closing and me losing my games? Not
Right,
that
like,
you cannot
because
load it because
just
you
because
can
the company
download them.
closes does not mean he should not have lost his games. That I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
just because he closed, that they closed doesn't mean he should have lost the games. Like he paid for those games, he should own them. At least be able to at
Well-
least be able to download them on a storage drive.
Yes,
That's a different thing.
It's for me, like when it comes to streaming, like let's say like games are only available on streaming and there's no way for you to save them natively on your hardware. That is another like kind of scary sort of reality where I'm paying full sticker for games on launch that I'm really excited for, but one, they're only available on streaming, or for whatever reason, I decide to stream it out of convenience due to lack of storage space or ... And then come to find out like a few years later, like it's no longer supported by a different firmware on my console, or I can't play it, or there are no longer patches being put out for it for that current system hardware. Or system software. So there are so many different, factors that, as someone who does often go back and play titles that they've owned for like a few years, that, the reality of like this soon to be all digital world, will, compel me to either continue to rebuy these same games over and over, or I'll lose access to them just because the company who owns the IP refuses to re-release it.
And to get on to that point, that's also so like I said earlier, like delisting. I can give you 3 examples of delisting that have made gamers irate, and one of them actually got a hashtag going. But during the PS3 360 era, there was a re-release of Marvel vs. Capcom 2, the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure fighting game, and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Those 3 games got delisted, And ever since, there has not been a modern re-release or anything like for those games.
Can't find Marvel's Capcom 2.
Oh, I have it for PS2, but it
to the point they of dropped the last one that you said they do it a limited run.
That's what I say. Limited run was
Scott
able to
Pilgrim?
finally, after years of their fans demanding it, they finally were able to do a physical version of Scott Pilgrim versus the World's beat 'em up game. And I forgot the name of the YouTuber, but like he got a hashtag going for MVC2, and now Digital Eclipse, the people that have re-released the NES or the SNES and Genesis games for the Disney games, they're in talks to bring back MVC2 physically and digitally for gamers. So
nice.
It's in these people, like, fans want these games to play. We want to be able to play these titles because I'll still say that MVC2 is the best fighting game ever made, and I will debate you on that.
Good.
But yeah, like it's like companies like Limited Run Games and Specially Reserve are holding the front line. Now, what can also be a thing is their pricing, because I believe that LRG can go a little bit off the rails with the pricing of certain titles. It's absolutely insane. And then you have mom and pop shops like Rhea mentioned she has, like yesterday we talked about, she has the PS1 Classic, and that's how she's able to play the original Persona. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I'd rather have a PS1 Classic and find one of those to play it, because the physical copy is $400.
Oh, yes, I know.
And then there's like the rarest PS2 game is at one of my local stores. They are selling it because it was discontinued. They're selling it for $800.
It's like the game that I want, Cool One, the one of the games from Software. There is a horror game that nobody knows that company did that game, Cool On or something like that. I think it's going for $500 to $1,000. It's a PlayStation.
It's insane.
Rare
like
game.
Retro gaming is getting expensive.
Yeah, these are like kind of the quote unquote forgotten titles that are falling through the cracks that aren't necessarily getting supported on streaming platforms. Because to the point I was trying to make, a lot of like more well-known, more historically successful and profitable titles and IPs are being prioritized on streaming platforms instead of like the ones that we're talking about that are really hard to find in physical edition form and were never re-released outside of their original platforms. So that's another fear that I have as
someone
who's a retro enthusiast.
And like the other thing that I want to point out is, as someone who like follows this pretty intuitively, there is the Video Game Foundation, but other than that, there is like no actual like company that's like trying to preserve the history of games. There's not one out there. There's one for film. There's one for books.
Supposedly Microsoft is trying to do something like that, but I don't know how true that is.
And here's the thing that upsets me is that Phil Spencer's willing to do that, but everyone else in the gaming space that's a leader is not willing to help him with that, and that irritates me because some of these companies have some of the most legacy-filled, like Square. Square has such a lineage of fantastic games, and they are telling me they don't want to like they had to I know for one of the games, they like lost the code for one of the Final Fantasy games. And so to port it, they like had to like rebuild it from scratch. Basically, it's what I heard. Like, it's just nuts. Like I'm all for game preservation. I'm all for physical media because there's just so many like what ifs and unknowns with digital. And that's why the day that consoles go fully digital, two things are going to happen. One, GameStop is going to go out of business because they have nothing left to trade.
100%.
But two, I will stop buying consoles, and I'm declaring that right now. I will stop buying the moment a disc drive is gone. I'm done. I have all I need. Then I'm good. I'm not going to buy digital. It's
a scary kind of future for me too. But like I'm just optimistic that the idea of streaming will become more inclusive for more games in the future, and in theory, it will make games more accessible to more people, which is really good in my opinion. But at the same time, not being able to have a guarantee that I will always have access to those games is also very scary. So it's a double-edged sword where yay accessibility, immediate accessibility versus like not having that confirmation of like long-term accessibility. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to put a pin in that topic for the moment, and then also jump into our third topic. Recent G4 news. I'm sure some of us have been following it on Twitter and social media, YouTube, all that. I know the spicy topic. Here's the spice that folks are probably waiting for. So G4 and its place in modern gaming coverage and community engagement. Essentially, the question that I want to open up to the panel. what is the role of game coverage in media in regards to information dissemination and community management and communications? Like, what is the acceptable line between an individual who has a role as a public figure, but who also has individual experiences that determine their opinions and their perspectives? So I'll open it up to Saggy. Go right ahead.
You got the hot seat, Saggy.
Well, no, it's a lot, because G4 was like the first really network that was supposed to be like all gaming stuff, and that's where a lot of people look for their information about, you know, gaming and stuff like that. But because YouTube exists, and now at this point, like same with journalism, I think anyone can just, you know, say they're a journalist and do, you know, journalist things. And I get, this is no shade thrown at anyone, just throwing it out there. But that's what I'm saying. Like at this point, like anyone can be a YouTuber, influencer, if you just kind of go put yourself out there. As far as YouTube, there are so many gaming informative shows that exist now. I think like something like G4, I think they kind of like too little too late. You know, you had something where you were the first and only, and then somehow you let that die, and then trying to do it again on TV and on YouTube. It's like there is the only reason why they even have a following is because for people who remember
the old people,
right, they remember G4 in its glory days. Like they're not, I don't think anyone, maybe some, but I don't think a lot of people are going to G4 to get their gaming fix. I think they've already established other means.
Yeah, IGN been bodying that for a long time already.
Right. So I mean, I guess IGN, but there are other people, like I said, that have found like YouTubers that they like to give them the information. So I mean,
I totally rather go to a YouTuber now than any company of that, like IGN and all these people, because all these people are corporate stuff, and they cover stuff in a corporate way rather than an experience way. Most of them don't even play the game. You know what I'm saying? Like you see all those people, they don't even play the game. They don't do their own. They don't write their own scripts. So they don't know.
Oh, you're saying
that's serious.
Just watch X Play's Microsoft discussion, and you'll see that they had no idea what they were talking about. Again, me, who's a PlayStation fanboy, knew more about what was coming to Xbox than they did.
Oof.
And I can't believe that.
Yeah,
you should, because I did a whole episode on it.
Yello, I think I know the least about your personal opinion on this topic, so I want to hear what you have to say.
That's the thing. I know nothing about this shit. I have been off G4 since they went off the first time, and I did not care when they were coming back. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one is going to G4. Like you guys said it. Only people who remember G4, the glory day. Like they were talking about Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 the last time I watched something on G4. Fam, that's not. What are we really doing in 2022? No one cares about I don't care about G4. I don't even really go to like the only time I'm ever looking for something about a game is really for a review to see if it's worth me buying. And like everyone here has already said, Ghost of Tsushima review, enter YouTube. Let's see. Let me take a look. You know, that's it. I'm done with that.
We had thousands and thousands and thousands of personalities on the internet that you can watch your reviews from.
And
so
millions of them.
Also, I think that it's more genuine when you have YouTubers doing their reviews, because they're not just doing it. Well, it depends. Like there are, like I think when it comes to like game reviews, like specifically game reviews, if I'm going to look at different YouTubers to see how, because they're gamers, right? They're mainly gamers. So I'm going to go to them and see what they feel about this specific game. And I'm not just going to watch one. I'm going to watch a couple just to see, you know, if the game is getting wide reviews. I'm not going to go to a network who literally is paid to write a script from people who generally don't give a shit about games. They're there just for the job, which is what a lot of people at G4 were. Like a lot of them, they might have been gamers, but they were reading a script that somebody else wrote. The other person who took the time and research and just said, "Here, read that," and that's it. I think I would trust a YouTuber when it comes to gaming reviews over a network, if that makes sense.
The only one there that actually you can see a legit review will be from the completionist, and not even now, because he has.
Man, listen, like I follow Gerard, like he's my favorite YouTuber,
Mhm.
and I have to say this, like for those like, oh well, it's just because of the script. No, because Gerard and his team make scripts for his reviews, and there is more authenticity and passion through his scripts that he makes for his videos than they do for G4 reviews.
Yeah, I actually play the games on stream. Every game that he has reviewed, he has
Yes.
actually stream it. So
that too. Yeah,
you
he
can
on
see
his
it.
Twitch.
Yeah.
I think for me, one of the things I did want to kind of open the floor to is like the idea of like, let's say like, you know, like admittedly G4 is kind of like lost relevance in terms of, you know, like them being an influence on, you know, the community. However, because most folks are familiar with them as one of the past I want to say like, you know, kind of like figures
There's name recognition.
name recognition. Thank you. There's name recognition. So I think that's why they're kind of bubbling up in the news. And one thing I did want
And
to
they just
kind
had
of
an
like
explosion.
yeah, the explosion. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
fucked
pivot to
up.
that. So like the spice about like, you know, the actual people on their network, you know, just kind of sharing their experiences, engaging with the community, and also being representatives of G4. So yeah, I'll throw it to Saggy. Like,
Well, no, hold
let
on.
me hear what you have to say.
No, go ahead, Meta. I've been going first. I was like, go ahead, Meta. I'll
Well,
go
no.
last.
Also, though, like you've been going like extra hard on this topic more than I have. I've only made 2 videos on this.
Oh,
2.
Who, me?
Well, yeah, right.
Well,
Am I
no,
right or wrong?
because it's we talk about the Frosk incident, right?
Yes.
That's like the
So-
biggest thing, but there's
well,
more
that-
than
well,
just that.
Well,
Yeah,
I know
don't
there's
know what
more.
this is.
Oh my God.
So just so Yellow knows.
I've read Saggy tweet about it.
Yeah, so just
Who's
to
heard
give
the recent one?
just to give y'all the TLDR, a new host for G4's X Play went on a rant, basically saying that that the people were giving her harsh criticism because she wasn't bangable like the previous host, and she name dropped Olivia Munn and Morgan Webb as examples, and then she said that they did not
They
exist
are
to be
very
nice,
attractive.
right? But her stupid statement of Olivia Munn and Morgan Webb didn't exist to be nice on the eyes for you. That's where I popped off, because I'm like, they 100%. What
were?
G4 were you watching when Olivia Munn and Morgan Webb were on that show? They were very sexual on those shows, especially Olivia Munn. I literally had clips of Olivia Munn doing very sexy, provocative things.
Explicit things.
The hot dog.
And suggestive things. So
Yeah.
for Frosk to say something ignorant and so toned down, and then have the nerve to say, it's like, Frosk, you were also hired to be nice on the eyes for people, because Frosk is not unattractive.
She's not so ugly. Yeah, I was going to say
Right.
she's not ugly at all. She's
And
actually
all that
attractive.
just to hide a terrible opinion about PlayStation's exclusivity.
Right. And
That's what it was for.
Right, and then she went on this rant, and it's like the way that they allowed Frosk to go on that speech. It's like, I can understand when she was basically saying, like, I was with her at one point when she was saying, you know, when I'm reading I'm reading a script that Adam's reading, and he's reading the first part, and then I'm reading the second part, and I'm the only one getting flamed for it. And I'm like, that's understandable. I can be kind of empathetic to you there, where if you're reading a script that you're just doing your job and you're getting flamed for, I can see the frustrations. But when she went on that tear rant about how Olivia Munn and Morgan Webb weren't, and I'm like, you clearly don't know what company you were hired for, right? So it's like that hurt G4. G4 was under fire. They're still under fire for that.
Comcast is actually pissed off right now.
Oh yeah,
they're trying to take him out.
They're
They
under
should be.
fire because of Kevin Pereira and the NFT incident, because of just Adam Sussler and who he is as a human being right now, the Frosk incident, and now the only way you can chat with them in their streams is if you're a member for a month.
Yep.
That's the recent flame they've done. And I'm like, you want to die again at this point. You want to die again.
Well, let me just sort of like jump in, because like I haven't been following this story too much, but in regards to Saggy's point about Frost sort of like, you know, in more or less sort of like maybe inaccurately citing the history of G4 past hosts, and then the criticism that they've received for, you know, the calling out the harassment that they've experienced. I want to kind of like frame it in the context of like, okay, this person has had like experiences within the gaming community that were not favorable to them. But they're discussing it as an employee representing the brand on G4's platform. Yep. It's not just, you know, their social media platforms that they're calling folks out. It's G4, endorsing them and paying them to do this. So Yello, I'm more interested to, hear your thoughts on that versus like, is that proper? Is that good on G4 to, encourage their employees to do that and give them that platform? Or do you think it should be totally separate?
Before he answers, his face says it all.
There's one more thing that I forgot to mention, Rhea. There is one more thing G4 got flamed for. They got heat for. They did it. They deleted the tweet because, of course, they did. But they did a tweet with the Falcon and Winter Soldier meme with a Falcon going, he's not, he's out of line, but he's right. They basically called their entire fan base toxic. They called all gamers toxic.
Yeah.
So they started off on the.
So I do want to give
so the meme itself doesn't call that meme doesn't call all gamers toxic. That's some pussy shit to say. Not you're a pussy, but for people to be mad about that, that's some pussy shit. There is a toxic contingent in every fandom. Yes, we can agree. Women tend to get it worse in predominantly male spaces. Is gaming a predominantly male space? Can we agree there?
Yeah.
Right. Like for the most part, right?
Yeah.
What? No.
That like the recent charts and stats have showed that it's kind of like half and half now, as from what I've seen.
Yeah, I was gonna say the female. I think females are kind of, but I would still say
you can thank G4 for that.
Is that including mobile gaming, or is it just console gaming and PC gaming?
I don't know that specific detail. All I know is that the charts that I've seen are half and half.
But Matt, I was gonna say to Yellow's points is that even though women it is still in the community, women the way women are perceived in the gaming community is still kind of like.
And do you agree that people on the internet are super bold and they say outlandish shit all the time? Can we agree? Do we agree that happens?
The internet.
Here's the thing.
Yes.
People went to watch G4 for the games. I didn't went as a consumer. If I go to a store and you're selling me some bullshit that I didn't came to buy, I gotta go out. I went to G4 to watch gaming news to talk about gaming, not about woke shit.
What you got for Saturday? I got some bullshit.
Because women get harassed. We already know that. We already have so much bullshit in life already that we don't have to. We don't go to a place that we are just going to free our minds to be talk about how women is being treated in a place. No, we didn't went for that. I understand,
but it's happening in that place.
It is happening, but people are not going to your channel to talk about woke shit. You know,
right?
They don't go for a message.
Normally, that's not happening.
Sorry for
right?
the bad word. Sorry for the bad word.
No, you're totally fine.
I would. Are we not supposed to cuss? Because I am very bad at not cussing.
Yeah,
you're
really
bad.
All right, cool.
Yeah, y'all have not heard Rhea swear, and that's funny because I've heard her pop off and say some stuff, so she good.
I want to hear that. Okay. I want to hear that.
No, that's special for me.
I'm pretty sure I've heard Rhea swear.
Yeah, no,
I'm pretty
sure.
I do understand that women in the gaming industry, they get harassed, but it's like you're gonna find stuff like this, and not only in any industry, you're gonna find this, and we already know this. We as ourselves, we need to deal with that situation, but at the same time, I'm not going to a channel to watch somebody telling me what is going on or what I already know. I already know this. I already know that women get harassed all the time.
On your personal platform, give that message. That's absolutely fine. People are still going to flame you for it, but that's personal. That's fine. But you are a representative of this company. I am the company expects you to do and act a certain way. That's like if someone like went to McDonald's and like said something derogatory and like I'm like behind the counter and I hear them say that and I just pop off on them. I'm gonna get fired.
Let me pivot back to what Yello was saying and just sort of like try to I think I do understand a little bit of like Yellow's point about G4 sort of bringing awareness to this existing problem within their company and them supporting their employees. I do think that maybe there was some presentation concerns that a lot of us may have had with their employee maybe not using as many I want to say like qualifying statements, and then maybe like the general audience feeling like they were being grouped in with the people who were attacking this person. So maybe like just to kind of like give some credibility to this person using their employer's platform to call out the harassment they experienced. It is I don't want to say admirable because they're still, a for-profit company, but like G4 at least, a little like at least taking care of the optics of like being a socially responsible employer, while at the same time potentially also, getting having ulterior motives to, like appear, as a good,
Like-
central place for like, modern gamers to get their news.
Sadly, they fob in that because the thing is that not only this incident happened, another incident happened. Sorry for my dog that's barking. Another
fine.
incident happened that the other guy was calling
Adam Sussler
Adam
said that all
Sussler,
Republicans could drink piss.
you're not supposed to be doing that. You are alienating your audience completely.
Yeah, because like, and I know that they're not the most beloved individuals within certain groups that we all know, but Ryan and Jeremy and all them calling up like Republicans play games. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, yeah, like I hate to agree with them, but yeah, they're right. Like Republicans do play games, and you're just like you just isolated an entire portion of your audience.
Well,
Politics
I
should
do
be
want
out
to.
of it.
Yeah, no, I want to really quick just make sure, Yellow, you have as much space as you need to, fully, outline your thoughts on this. And I apologize if I misinterpreted your original comments on it too. But feel free to
talk
speak
more.
Yes. That.
No, you got where I was going. I also had other things to add to it though. None of you are going to G4 for gaming news. You can read that, right? You can go Twitter, you can read that, on the internet. What you're going there for is for the presentation that they give you. Every single news show, no matter what they're talking about, they have now leaned into this, and it's been happening for years. They have leaned into this what's the word I'm looking for here? This kind of outlandishness. They are leaning into whatever it is that's going to cause uproar to get people talking.
Mhm.
Outrage marketing is a real thing, right?
No, yeah,
Also,
totally.
I hate the respectability politics. People, I don't like the way you said what you were saying. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear nothing. And personally, I hear this shit all the time. Don't care, right? Like, listen for the message, right? If it's a thing that needs to be said, it needs to be said. If it doesn't need to be said, it'll come out. The proof is in the pudding. With that said, though, people should be able to. I know a lot of folks want to like leave your politics and your ideals and your social issues. Leave all that shit out of my whatever it is. Insert fucking thing here. Fill in the blank. Right. But all of these things are part of the cultural zeitgeist. They are part of society, which they can't exist without those things. You can't, there's no way to separate them. You can ignore them, right? Which is the problem, which is how you get to a point where a host is on the air who cannot take it anymore and then loses their shit. Right, because you're ignoring it. So, do I think that is the best way for her to go about it? I didn't watch it. I don't fucking know, and I don't care about this bitch or the people that she's talking about. Right? Like, I don't give a fuck, right? But it's TV. At the end of the day, it's TV. These motherfuckers get on these news channels and do the same exact shit, but you're used to it there, right? So no one bats an eye, and you know who gets mad? Whoever it is that they're talking about at the time. That's who gets mad about it. So I don't really see it as any different. Is it good? No, I don't fucking know.
Well, I think Yellow. The problem is that for G4 to try to relaunch, they already fucked it up. That's what the issue is. Like they already started.
Everybody's talking about them.
Right, everyone's talking about them, but not in a good way, and that doesn't. And now
their numbers are speaking really loud.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like their numbers, like they're getting
views they were though.
Right,
yeah.
they weren't, and they're getting ratioed with the likes and dislikes. So I mean, it's only a matter of time before they're just kind of over it. But I'm saying, like the whole issue is if you're trying to relaunch something, and everyone is all excited for it, and then you piss off everybody, like that's like not a good start. Yeah, but
I'll also add on to this.
Yeah, but EA is actually giving you some shit. They're actually giving you. You don't have to listen to EA.
So that's it. So all they got to do is, but look at EA though. They were the king of. They were the poster boy for how microtransactions gone wrong. Now people remember it still. They say, "Oh, but those microtransactions." But they gave you some shit, right? Everybody's still playing TK. Everybody, motherfuckers is out here. No one can. No one gives a fuck.
That's how they
kill
the
market,
space
though.
They space free. Everything
EA
was
a few years ago was like single player games are dead. We're not going to make single player games anymore. And then God of War won Game of the Year, and that shut them up.
Right.
They listened to the market. G4 is not listening to the market. Also, I want to add just on like
The
on
market
like a
just started
level,
talking. Give them a quarter. Give them
Like-
3 months and see how they feel.
like the other thing that G4 is doing though, like again, as someone that wants to go for the reviews, they're reviewing games that are like 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. That I no longer
they're
care
catching
about them
up.
talking about.
I noticed that too.
Sadly, I
I saw
cannot
catching
say
up on
much
shit that
because
is
my
irrelevant
channel is.
now.
I've seen some
Sadly, I
YouTube
cannot say
videos.
much because I'm a YouTuber who review odd and no gaming. So
They reviewed Alien Isolation from
Right.
2014.
I love retro reviews. I love that Ken goes
Yeah.
back and like reviews games that everyone slept on, like the Tingle game. Like
Yeah.
talk about like physical media being
Tingle?
preserved
Hi,
on like
Josh.
one platform that I've never heard of, or like a game that I've never heard of that you know, is so niche and specific to his interests. Like that's what I like. That
I've seen a couple places do that same thing recently. There's something's going on right now where because I think I seen IGN do it a couple times too. And I'm sorry to bring up IGN again. I know everybody we're supposed to hate it, but like they've been doing some really old games too. And I'm like, why are we? What year is it? Why are we doing this? So there's a thing happening that people are interested in seeing that.
Thank you.
I watch girlfriend reviews, like again, another YouTube channel. I fucking
I know the one
love
you're talking
girlfriend
about,
reviews.
That's
It
funny.
is fucking hilarious and adorable, right? It takes a months to put out a game review, but
Red Dead 2 is
fucking
great.
it's incredible, and that's why people are watching this. No one, there's gonna always be people watch John Campea. I know people hate John Campea, right? To talk about movies real quick, he's like I've heard him called C-SPAN for movie nerds, right? Mad, boring, whatever, fine, but there are always going to be people who are going to tune in for that kind of traditional, mainstream Hollywood, for lack of a better word, production value, right? There are always going to be people who are tuning in for that. So
yeah,
if they can find some success, good for them. If y'all don't like it, you ain't got to fucking watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't watch the shit. I didn't watch the bitch blow up. I heard y'all talk about it.
Like yeah, like to Ken's you know, content again, like, you know, all of the production value and time and labor that you put into your work just for like one video, like you're doing that because you care about the presentation of the content that you're making, and you're actually like researching the game and going into depth about, you know, the content, and it's your personality that is also, you know, attached to it too, which makes people come back for what you have to say. Like when it comes to like, you know, I can confirm it's true because I always watch the content. But yeah, for
Shout
like
out
shout outs to Retro Complex, link in the description. But for the G4s and the IGNs of the world, where like, you know, bigger budgets, bigger production values, like, you know, clear shilling, you know, ads every 30 seconds, you know, that you can't skip, like it gets tiresome, and it does, you know, sort of like, as much as like they do serve as you know, the authority sometimes, as like in terms of like, you know, their Metacritic scores and things like that for a game, in order to encourage like the general audience to give it a chance. I think like the point is valid about, you know, y'all were saying about more people are pivoting to like the live streamers and the YouTube commentators and the social media influencers like on Twitter and stuff like that for the, you know, the grassroots, you know, truth about, you know, a game's quality.
But don't get me, I understand Meta where he's coming from, because it's true for a company that is a corporation, the games that they're reviewing, normally for a company like that, I would expect them to get the games first than me.
Yeah, like
it's really
I
hard for me to
expect
get
them-
one of those games.
I expect them to review like I said, like I'm playing Lost Judgment. Where's the Lost Judgment review? Because that's a more recent game
Most recent
that
game. I
you know you can
understand
talk
that.
about.
Yeah.
I don't care about Alien Isolation or what your thoughts are on the first God of War. You can review the second one though, because that's coming out. Which, by the way, I heard that it got delayed. Please God no. Please God no. I need that this year.
Take your time, make the right game. That's how I feel about that kind of stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
I'm for that too.
I
I'm
hate
just-
waiting, but fucking take your time. Don't give me some.
absolutely.
Don't Kingdom Hearts 3 me is what I'm asking.
Galaxy, to respond your comment in the chat, YouTubers are scripted too. Yes, I'm super scripted, but you can feel the emotion and the passion over your script. When I write a script, you can actually, even though I feel like I sound like a robot, you can hear my anger if something I didn't like, or you can hear my when I laugh, that you have seen me laugh. If you have seen me laugh in the videos, as snarky in the moment because I found that the mechanic was stupid. It could be fixed, but I'm saying it while I'm reading. I'm conveying my emotion at the same time. Even though YouTubers are scripted, you can see the passion
in
that a
charge of the
person
script.
have. Yeah.
And it's an extension of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
No.
was just
go
gonna
ahead.
say,
I don't think he's talking about you when he says
I
that, though.
script like some of my videos. I will have a script just because I type up what I want to say, but it's easier to have it a script when you write it down because like now you know how to say it. For some reason, and when I read it off, my tone changes. Like when I talk like this, it's normal and fluid and more genuine. But when I write, I'm literally typing up my words that I want to say. But then when I'm reading it as I'm doing my videos, it sounds so bland and generic.
You do the voice
Yeah.
that high schoolers do. Like, or it's your turn to read. It's your turn to read the chapter.
Yeah, like if you watch
Fine.
my videos, you could tell what's scripted and what's not scripted.
Well, you
and it's
start
pretty bad.
learning. You start learning with time.
Yeah.
How to not do that, because I have seen that when I'm reading a script, I go like the one of the things that I go like, hello family and welcome to the new video. Though that is scripted too, because I had to remember to say all that. And then I go like, today we're gonna be checking in a game that's called da, 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 da. So little by little you start learning how to not talk like a robot all the time when you're reading your scripts.
Well, I do
you
that.
learn
mean,
that.
He jumped in
Part
the
of me
pond.
is thinking
He had
that Galaxy's comment is more about language that is encouraged by a third party, if not like a sponsor.
Oh,
so
well,
that's
yeah.
how I'm interpreting it. So like
Yeah,
a
that's
script
what it
that
sounds like.
a sponsor
More
is,
like that.
telling you to do. But really quick, I do want to be mindful of y'all's time. We're almost at an hour and 30 minutes. So I wanted to give us ample amount of time to thank everyone for being on the panel. Let us know, where we can find you on social media and YouTube, and any closing thoughts on the discussion today. It's this is probably one of my favorite podcasts I've ever done ever. So thank y'all for making it so special.
I
and
told you it was
awesome.
going to be good.
Oh yeah, y'all brought the heat, and it was fun. It was engaging. It was it was everything. So thank you.
Now I'm uncomfortable.
That was for him. That was for retro. I've tried to do the thing because we had a thing. I don't know if you guys know.
Oh, you had a thing?
I was no. So I was joking with him, and I told him to send me a video, and then he sent me a video of him playing guitar, and then he was like, yeah, it was hilarious. So I'm trying to do the
That was crazy.
Crazy.
But yeah,
that was crazy.
cool, awesome. Thank y'all so much. Y'all are amazing.
Thank
folks.
you.
And Saggy, where can we find you at? And any closing thoughts?
All this right here, Saggy Melonz. Most of y'all already know me, so that's where I'm at. My closing thoughts are, I think everyone should just love what they love, whether it's Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo. Everyone just enjoy gaming. It doesn't have to be a war over video games, but Microsoft, stop buying everything, you assholes. Leave some for us Sony players too.
No, just don't.
No, we need it.
Buying. Stop
buying. You're rich enough, Microsoft. You're rich enough. Save some money for the rest of us bums. Jesus.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for
that was all I
Saggy. And I'll pass it over to Yello Duzzit. Where can we find you, and any closing thoughts, my guy?
Yello Duzzit fan. You can find me on my channel every once in a while. Seeing, in my Does It Hold Up series, where I play some old game that I had to find it and play illegally because I can't be bothered. I don't care. But it ain't about me, man. Today is about Rhea and her putting together this wild ass panel right here today and talk about these things that y'all seem to care about. And I guess one thing, if you could take away from any conversation that we have together, any conversation I'm a part of, guys, if everybody in the world, try to exhibit that same sense of nuance for things that you like and agree with, for the things that you don't like and disagree with. Just use the same part of your brain. I know it's hard. I hate doing it as well. But just you don't have to switch sides, but just give it a little bit more of your attention. You feel what I'm saying? And then maybe you'll find that some of that crazy shit you were about to type up on Twitter probably doesn't need to be said.
Thank you.
Fair enough. I can definitely align to the values that you shared in that statement.
And Pokemon Arceus is trash.
And then you had to go and ruin it.
Whatever the next game that they make is gonna be fire. The next game, the game that when they take this game and they say, all right, now that we figured out how to do it, let's make the better game. That game is gonna be fire. But this game is hideous.
I'm looking forward to
the
the
same
next
way that I
game.
feel with Breath of the Wild. You feel the same way that I feel about Breath. I fucking despise Breath of the Wild.
What?
Zelda Breath
That's
of the Wild,
crazy. That's crazy.
That is trash.
That's
That
crazy.
was like
That's
this
crazy.
game, this Pokemon
Horrible.
game, so Breath of the Wild trash.
Like I
How do you
wasn't
not like
the
Breath of the
biggest
Wild?
like when everybody was like Breath of the Wild is the greatest thing ever. I was like, it's great.
Eh.
It's a lot of fun and gets a little tedious, but to say
Eh.
that it's trash, that's
Yeah, it's
kind of
trash.
nuts.
Yeah.
That's why you're out here playing Tingle. I don't know what that
And
is.
let's hand it over to Meta. Meta, thank you so much for joining the panel. And where can we find you? And any closing thoughts?
Oh,
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wait, Meta's gotta get his composure real quick. I think
I gotta get my composure. I'm
Yello just
absolutely
broke
done.
him again. Jesus, Yello.
Yeah, y'all can find me on Twitter, like it says right down there, at the most meta. I'm on there quite frequently if you want to have a gaming discussion about games, movies, comics, what have you. I'm down for it. You can also find me on my YouTube channel, Into the Metaverse, where right now I'm doing a series called The Games That Made Us, where I'm talking about right now just specific like gaming genres. We just did one, like Rhea said, she was on there yesterday, about RPGs, and it turned into from one to both RPGs and JRPGs. But you know, I have one intended to do for like platformers and stuff like that. So yeah, and then I also have a podcast called Talking Meta Podcast. You can find on all podcasting platforms.
Awesome. Thank you again, Meta. And last but not least, we have Ken at Retro Complex. Where can we find you, my guy?
Yeah, you
and
can
any
find
closing thoughts?
You can find me on Twitter as RetroComplex1 and YouTube as RetroComplex. Mostly I do reviews of obscure, weird games. Sometimes I do reviews or like famous games, but mostly I'm doing weird ass games that nobody heard about in their life. Closing thought? No, I don't have none. This has been a great podcast today.
You done,
That's
Croc?
Like I feel like I've made like a mini Avengers of like video game like random talk right now. So
That's
thank
it.
I'm
y'all
Hawkeye. Got no business being here.
Yellow, I'm done. Hey, bro.
Oh, shots fired. But
Got a bow and arrow.
RJ
here,
is
yo,
not
that's all.
happy right now.
You just broke so many hearts, Yello. Stop it. Stop it, Yello.
That's funny.
But yeah, no, this is awesome. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching the Glimmercast episode 4, where we talk about video game news. We'll be coming with some more topics and stuff on the podcast later this week. And yeah, I'll bid farewell to our guests backstage, and everyone in the audience. Take care. All right, bye.
Bye.